Got the answer up here on the board. So this was our parent function, and we were asked to graph this transformation. So in evaluating the function, the first thing I'm doing to x is adding that 1 because of those parentheses, and then multiplying by 3 because that's also in parentheses. Then I would plug into f. That's my parent function. Don't have a formula for it, but I have a graph of that. Okay. Once I've done that, I'm multiplying by negative 1/2 and then adding 4. Again, if you find it easier to see that we're adding 4, we're not subtracting 4. What we're subtracting is negative 1/2 of f. If you find it easier to see that that's a positive 4, you can, if you want to, bump it to the end and write that you're adding 4. Those are equivalent because, of course, when I'm adding things, it doesn't matter what order I do that in. Okay, so I've written down the order in which I'm evaluating things. Anything I did before the parent function corresponds to a horizontal transformation. Anything I did after the parent corresponds to a vertical. And I work away from the parent function. So the horizontal stuff I'm doing in the opposite order from that in which I do the corresponding evaluation, and the vertical stuff I'm doing in the same order. I've chosen to do the horizontal transformations and then the vertical. That's not important. Within the horizontal and vertical transformations, the order in which you do them is important. Okay, so I did the horizontal shrinking first. So if we were multiplying by 3, but that accomplishes a shrink, we do accomplish that by doing the opposite of multiplying by 3. We divide our x values by 3. So the x value of negative 2 becomes an x value of negative 2/3. An x value of 0 stays as 0, because 0 divided by 3 is still 0, but the x value of 2 becomes 2/3, and the y values did not change. All right, then I came down here. We wanted to shift things left 1. We accomplished that again by doing the opposite of what we do in evaluating the function. So instead of adding 1, I'm going to subtract 1 from all of my x values. So negative 2/3 minus 1. Well, 1 is just the same as 3/3. So that's negative 2/3 minus 3/3. That's going to give me negative 5/3. 0 minus 1, that x value became a negative 1. And then 2/3 minus 1, again, that's 2/3 minus 3/3. That gives me negative 1/3. All right, so now our x values are set. They're not going to change anymore. They're going to be negative 5/3, negative 1, and negative 1/3. Now we do the vertical stuff. We accomplish the flip and the shrink by simply multiplying the y values by negative 1/2. So this y value of negative 1 became positive 1/2. And the y value for these 2 points, which was positive 1, became negative 1/2. And if I look at it, I can see, yes, I did flip, and yes, I did shrink. All right, and then we just needed to shift that up 4. So we're adding 4, which is the same as 8/2, to each of our y values. So 1/2 plus 4 became 1/2 plus 8/2 is 9/2. Negative 1/2, which was the y value for both of these points, when we add 8/2 to that, we get 7/2. So this is our final answer right here. And that concludes section 1.6.